Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling. And man, I really appreciate you guys making some time out of your day to watch the video and spend some time with me. Really appreciate that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about the money pit that tournament bass fishing is, but more importantly, why do so many people do it if it's a money pit? So this is a conversation I've been wanting to have for a while, so I'm going to give you guys my opinion on it, and obviously be curious to get your guys' feedback as well in today's video. Also, guys, just two quick housekeeping tips before we get started that you guys just absolutely love to hear every morning. Most of you guys probably fast forward through, but just wanted to invite everybody to consider becoming a channel member here of Intuitive Angling. Channel members get extra videos that are not seen by the public and some access to my email address for your fishing questions. So if you're interested, just go to my YouTube homepage, click that little button that says join for information. You can get signed up there. And also, please check out all the cool fishing reel deals that Tackle Warehouse has right now. I got a bunch of good fall reel sales. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link up on the description if you guys would like to use that. Really appreciate that. One more thing before we get started, guys. You may notice the backdrop where I'm sitting here. I've been doing quite a few morning videos, but it's, you know, school's in full swing right now. So when I get up in the morning, I got to get up super early, make lunch for 3 boys, drop them off at different times of school, and then I go straight to the gym. And this place by the gym here is the only place that's got enough cell service to post a video. So you guys may see me sitting in this parking lot a lot. That's why I'm doing it there. Okay, guys, without a doubt, you know, this is like a fact. Nobody can argue with it. Statistically, when you look at every tournament angler in the country, as far as the money that they spend to compete, you know, their entry fees, their expenses, their boat, all this type of stuff, versus the money they win, it's a money pit. It is one of the biggest money pits anyone can get involved in. It's a terrible business decision. It's a money pit. And even if you look at like the top level circuits, like the Bassmaster Elite Series or the Bass Pro Tour, there's probably only 10% of the entire field that actually generate a profit. And just generating profit does not mean that they're paying their bills. I'm talking about people that are just winning more than they're spending. It's about 10% of the people that do it. So for 90% of the people, it's a loss. Every single tournament is a financial loss, and even more so on the lower level tournaments. Because if you go to like a BFL tournament or Bassmaster Open or Toyota Series, really, if you don't finish in the top 5 in the tournament, you know, by the time you've spent all of your expenses and everything, you're probably going to lose money. So in that essence, it's basically you really would probably have better off if you had $5,000 to spend to enter a Bassmaster Elite Series tournament. For the most of the people, you'd be better off going to Las Vegas and putting it in a slot machine. It's gambling. It's one of the things my dad always said about tournament fishing. It's gambling. I agree to that to some extent. You know, their skill level does have an impact. But the main thing I want to talk about here, guys, why is it that when it's so obvious that nobody can deny the reality that it is a money pit, and for the vast majority of people, they're just flushing their money down the toilet, why do so many people do it, and why do so many people continue to do it? So I've got a few answers on this, because I've done this for a long time, and you know, I've been able to make a living in bass fishing through a combination of my winnings and sponsorships and all that. There's different roads to do that, but here's the main attraction on it is, number one, tournament fishing makes you feel alive. And anything that you do in life that makes you feel alive is addictive. Doesn't matter what it is. And it's necessary. Everybody needs something that makes them feel alive, that makes them feel. And when I'm talking about feeling alive, I don't necessarily mean that that's feeling alive in a good way a lot of times. Because let's say, for example, we'll go back to the Las Vegas analogy of gambling. If you go to Las Vegas and you win, you know, $20,000 on a slot machine, you're going to feel alive in a great way. But if you go to Las Vegas and you put the $5,000 you took there with you in a slot machine and you lose every bit of that $5,000, you feel the pain, which makes you feel alive. So regardless of the outcome, it makes you feel alive. That's one of the things that tournament fishing does. The other thing with that is, and one of the most powerful things in my opinion, is that if you win a tournament or you do get in a tournament, there is an endorphin rush that comes with that. And there's whatever released in your body, whatever chemicals, that it is like an addiction. Because I can tell you for sure, because I've won Bassmaster tournaments, I've made lots of Bassmaster Classics, I've almost won Bassmaster Classics. And when you're in the hunt, and when you're in the position to win a tournament, or you win a tournament, or you go to a tournament and you finish high. Like, for example, Bassmaster used to give away boats for the top first, second, third. And there was like a 3-year period back in the early 90s where I won 7 boats over a course of about 2 years, 7 boats. So when you have this boat sitting out in your yard that you just won in a tournament, there's an addictive element that comes with that, to know that you went out and you did something that you love to fish, and you're getting paid and you're getting compensated in a big way for it. You can't discount how powerful that is. And one of the things that I have seen with tournament fishing is I have seen one good tournament ruin an angler's life. Because say, for example, you have some type of a struggling tournament angler that just happens to hit a good lick, and they win a tournament, and that keeps them in it to the point where they just can't get out of it again. They will mortgage everything. They will rack up credit card bills, chasing that feeling, chasing that addictive feeling and the endorphin rush that comes with doing well in a tournament, or having a chance to win a tournament, or whatever that comes with it. And I think that a lot of times tournament organizations sort of prey upon that. It's like there's a psychological element that people are willing to throw money at that. Let me give you guys a prime example. Back in the late 1990s, when Irwin Jacobs owned FLW, Irwin was like this very, very charismatic charismatic personality. And he would come to all of our tournaments at the FLW meetings, and he'd get up there at the pre-tournament meetings and tell us about what's going on, tell us about how bright the future is. We were at this one tournament where they had just announced back in the late 90s that they'd signed this big deal with Walmart, and Walmart was going to be pushing all this major money into the sport. And he went on and on about how bright the future was, and how we were all going to be making a ton of money. And it's like, but he had such a charismatic personality that by the end of that meeting, people were wanting to get up and sign away their house to fish the FLW Tour, because of the potential opportunity that came with all this money Irwin was talking that was going to be coming our way. So when you have that out there, when you have tournament organizations that, that push that on people, and they try to market it to the tournament anglers, again, that is another thing that keeps people coming and constantly with that. And then you have the ego aspect, and you can't underestimate a man's ego, because tournament angling is a great way to get your ego stroked, or it's a great way to get your ego hurt, depending upon how you do. But there is an ego element to tournament fishing. Guys rolling up in $200,000 rigs. You get attention, you get people wanting your autograph for things, you get attention on television. I mean, I remember the first time that I got on ESPN on Bassmasters. It's like, God, I've been watching ESPN since I was a little kid. Now I'm on ESPN. So when you have those opportunities, you're willing to do anything to get it. So it's very similar to having, for people that have some type of a drug or alcohol addiction. It's like you're looking for this constant next fix. And in the terms of tournament angling, it's like you have to pay to play. And that's why people are willing to, go broke or rack up tremendous debt just to stay in the game. That's sort of like the thing that defines it more than anything else. But it just, from a straight business decision, it's just like you can't ever underestimate how poor of a business decision it is to be a professional angler. That's why I didn't fish. I qualified for the BFL Regional down at Lake Pickwick. I didn't go to it because I figured it up. It's like, okay, $330 entry fee. I got to stay down there for 4 or 5 days. So I'm going to spend, probably $1,500 in gas and lodging, because it's 500 miles from my house. So I calculated the payout versus what it's going to cost me just to get there versus however many hundreds of people in the tournament. And I said, that's a terrible business decision. I'm basically a businessman. I'm a tournament angler, but I'm also a business person. So from a business standpoint, that was a terrible investment. So I chose not to do it. And a lot of people won't. They'll just like, you know, they'll give their last penny to fish a tournament. And I don't think it's ever going to change. As long as you have tournaments that are televised and give people opportunities to showcase themselves and stimulate that thing about that ego part of it, and stimulate that addictive personality that everybody has to some extent, people are always going to be willing to lose money to fish tournaments. That's what keeps it in business. So anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents on it. Be curious to get your feedback, and we'll talk later.